Something on your mind you wanna talk about. Slip in Brandon's tub and talk it out. It's Hot Tubs, Hot Takes. Hot Tubs, Hot Takes.
Welcome to Hot Tub Hot Takes, the Socratic Soaking Symposium. I'm your host, and we have a guest. Aria, I'm just going to do a 2-in-1, find out the guest and the take. I only need the note card once. Got it. Today we are with Michael Patrick Peters, the creator of dance meditation technique. Michael, welcome to the tub.
Thank you for having me, Brandon.
Were you just taking a soak?
I wanted to go all the way down, but it's kind of shallow, and I was having a hard time.
Ooh.
Oh, there it is. I just wanted the full hot tub, hot take immersion right off the bat.
How was it?
It was all right. There's been a few other people in this hot tub today, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a mouthful of something.
Yeah. That's a...
Wow, you're refreshed. You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. How's the position of this microphone?
It looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right.
So I got your take.
Okay.
And because I only wanted the note card once today, I wanted to dive right in.
Okay.
And your take that you came in with today is that there is no such thing as a judgment-free zone, and anyone who makes the claim that there is a judgment-free zone is making a fraudulent claim.
Yes.
Can you start me off by presenting your position, a 1-minute opening statement or so of why you feel so strongly about that?
Okay, so for those of us who have been in the yoga, the New Age community, meditation community, you hear this phrase used casually a lot. Hey, come to my workshop, come to my class. It's a judgment-free space. And I think if you apply any amount of critical thinking to it, you'll find that that makes no sense at all. Our judging mind is something that's a lot like our breathing and our heart rate. It's just happening. It's just going all the time. Even the idea of calling something judgment-free is a judgment upon the judgment itself. So I'm not a fan of it because I think it promotes a lack of critical thinking, and I don't see how it could possibly be argued to be a real thing. In my experience, there's only 2 judgment-free spaces. One, where there are no human beings.
Okay, so your first precondition is that humans are the only thing that can judge.
That I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, that I would be able to say, that I'd be able to confidently say.
Okay.
Yeah. And then number 2, a place where every human being present had total control of their mind.
So you're positing the only way in which to not have judgment is to have control over your judgment, and you're suggesting that we don't have control over our judgment because we don't have control over our minds.
Well, I think the initial problem is that there's really no definition on judgment. That's part of it. So
what's your definition of judgment?
So I think, what I think that people are saying when they're saying a judgment-free zone is that it's a place free of bad judgments.
So is there a such thing as a zone in which bad judgment is discouraged? Thus, when people say this is a judgment-free zone, maybe it's a bad judgment-free zone?
Yeah. A new word, I think, needs to be, what I like to say, of course, as you know, at my class, is it's a good judgment zone. We're working to make better judgment or discernment, good discernment. So rather than saying this is a judgment-free zone, you could say this is a good judgment zone, a place where we're going to gather to think about what's a good idea and make a good judgment call on energizing that idea. So, for example, if someone says, hey, come to my meditation class, it's a judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
If they just say that, they're lying.
Why do you think they're doing that?
They're wanting to create a safe space for people. They're wanting people to feel like they're going to enter a safe space because we do seem to want to be we want to be free of this judgment.
Now, what if, let's just say hypothetically, and this is a more philosophical argument on should we be willing to lie to make people feel better, but what if people did feel safer by walking in to a, quote, judgment-free zone, and the person making that, quote, fraudulent claim, whether they're doing it knowingly or not, is doing so to serve people and make them feel more invited? Are you willing to let fraudulent claims exist in the service of feeling safer?
Well, I mean, am I willing to allow? I don't have that kind of power to.
No, but what's your
if
ideal?
If I magically
what's your ideal?
I think it's very relative. There are some people that I've had this debate with who have said that they've been really helped by workshops and classes where they were told it was judgment free.
Oh, so they've said they've.
Oh
been
yeah,
helped?
yeah, and I believe them. I mean, it's their experience. What am I going to say? It's not. It's so the suggestion that it's judgment free helped them actually feel free of judgment and to be able to feel a little more free to be themselves. So there are always exceptions. From what I can tell, there's going to be exceptions. But if you look at it from a probability standpoint, it's a deception and it's not true. And there are judgments, so it can actually cause I think on a probability level, it's going to have a greater probability of causing confusion.
And disappointment, perhaps.
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, you walk into, let's say it's Brandon's meditation class. I go into his class. He says it's a judgment-free zone, but I can feel people thinking, I'm judging. Now I'm judging myself for judging. Fuck.
How am I? Wow, you just swore.
I just swore.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm judging you.
I don't know why I thought you guys would be offended by that.
Yeah, wow.
Is this MA?
Do you know
mature
me?
audience? I know.
Do you know me?
All right.
Double
fuck.
So all of a sudden you're feeling guilty for all of a sudden you're feeling guilty for judging in a judgment-free zone. So now you're judging yourself for judging other people, and now it's double judge.
I'm coming to so and so's meditation workshop. It's a judgment-free zone, but all I'm thinking about is like, this workshop sucks, or it's cold in here, or I don't know what this. And now I'm judging, that I'm judging because I'm not supposed to be judging, and it causes a mess. If it's a good judgment zone, now I get to use my mind. And if you tell me to, get into a hot tub that 8 other people have been in today and get on a microphone and a camera, I get to use my mind to decide whether that's a good idea or not.
And
if you say it's a judgment-free zone, you'd be lying. They're all judging us right now.
You decided it was a good idea.
I did.
Interesting.
Because I know you.
Because the way you prepped that thing of like, getting in a hot tub with a microphone, it sounded like you were going to be like, and that's a bad idea, but then you did it.
It could be a bad idea.
I
don't know how this will go. Everyone who's watching this is judging us right now, and those judgments are going to be in the comments, and I applaud you. How'd we do? What do you think of this, right? If I were to say this is a judgment-free interview, is there any way I could honestly say that?
No, but what you could say is that this is a space in which we would prefer you to limit your judgment.
Limit it to what?
Limit it to a radical acceptance of the circumstance given.
If someone asked me to accept those terms, depending on the person, I might do it, but I wouldn't actually be able to really do it. I would do it with complete skepticism. I'd be listening to from that point forward, I would be incredibly on alert.
So it's kind of like what you told me how Osho used to say, leave your mind at the door. And walk in and accept whatever you've been given, that you need to retain a sense of judgment in order to retain any sense of critical thinking and truth for yourself.
Yeah, so Osho, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh used to have a sign, at least at the Pune place, where it said, leave your mind at the door. And a lot of the meditators are like, oh yeah, it comes off as like, that's a good idea. Like, leave your mind at the door? Like, holy shit, you're becoming very vulnerable in that situation. Why not? Why can't my mind be here? Why can't I bring critical thinking with me? I think we have a desire to be with people where we're not being judged in a negative sense. We have to define that word. What does it mean? It means that Scott here is not judging my nipple hairs and saying Michael's bad because of the way his nipple hairs are formed, right? Like, I want to be accepted by this guy on some basic level, and we all want to be accepted, and we're afraid of this judgment. So it's touching on something we want, and they're saying, "Come here, we have what you want." And but in my experience, that's although it could be the case, and there could be situations where it's helpful. I'm sure plenty of people hearing this have had experiences where it was helpful, but I think on the whole, from a probability standpoint, it's not. They're saying, come here, we have this thing that you want, but they don't actually have it. Whereas if you say, bring your mind, bring your critical thinking, we need your help assessing whether this is a good idea or not. Now we have, and now everyone's going to feel more calm and a little bit more protected because they're being encouraged to think critically.
Do you think
This is hot. I don't know. There's something about this water. One
It's
of your
toasty.
guests was like, "It's hard to think in this tub." And
It's
it is. Are these
toasty.
bubbles like? Is this like a?
It's lavender.
It's lavender.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I don't know if this is something you talk about often with people, but how do people receive this when you posit it?
On the whole, on the probability whole, a lot of people value it. There's a certain amount of people who don't. But I would love to hear in the comments to hear if someone has a counter argument. There's something I'm missing in this argument that you could clarify, or something Brandon's missing that you clarify. I'd be fascinated to hear if I haven't thought this thing through.
So there you have it. Michael is ready to be judged.
Yeah.
He is inviting in your judgment.
Yeah.
And goodness gracious, have I been your host? This has been a guest.
Yeah.
And we are sitting in a big tub of judgment.
Oh, yeah.
Do you notice the sign behind you?
The what?
Oof.
How the fuck did I not see that?
I pulled the towel. The towel's covering it.
towel's going.
I didn't even know it was behind there, but I motioned at the